What is it? She stood upon the balcony, inexplicably mimicking hiccuping whilst amicably welcoming him in.
Close enough.
I am never, ever going to get that.
I love it.
Too many words.
Good effort, though. Good effort.
I tried.
So, how exciting. We have a very exciting interview to share today, don't we?
We do. We've got Merrill Davies. Davies, yeah.
Davis.
Yes. Yeah. Words, as you can tell, are not my strong point.
Merrill is an absolute legend. It's amazing because we're so happy that we found Merrill, but then at the same time, we're so gutted about when we found Merrill, because Merrill did the most incredible show at Edinburgh Fringe this summer about her late ADHD diagnosis.
Last summer.
And we did not find out about her until after, obviously.
Yeah, and if we'd known, we would have been down there
We would have
at
been
the
there
show.
with bells on.
Absolutely.
And as you can hear in this episode, we absolutely adore her and basically want her to be our new best friend. So we're really, really gutted we didn't get to see her in Edinburgh. But here is a little review of her show, which is from thespaceuk.com. So her show was called Merrill Means Well, and it says, from being called the slow one, in inverted commas, as a child to being fired from most jobs she's ever had, Merrill is the epitome of the phrase, it's okay to not be okay. Diagnosed with ADHD as an adult, Merrill tries to make sense of her existence and chaotic past. Merrill effortlessly weaves her stories and knowledge of her ADHD diagnosis, creating a unique comedic performance that is both funny and poignant. Ultimately, we root for Merrill and know that above all else, she means well. Strap in and ride this roller coaster through Merrill's brain as she takes you up, down, around and upside down. There's no height requirement and you'll want to get on again. This show could reduce anxiety levels and increase feelings of happiness.
Gutted we missed it.
So gutted we missed it, but how lucky are we that she agreed to hop on board the late ADHD diagnosis roller coaster with us, and this really is one hell of a ride. Like everything that they say in the spaceuk.com review is true of this episode.
Yeah, I'm really excited to share this episode.
So excited to share it. And I also read another review of her show which said that at one point she actually forgot a whole segment of her show
standard ADHD.
and she just got straight back on and just went back to it and got on with it. Yeah. And that is exactly what we are all about, is like owning it and saying, you know, you don't need to feel embarrassed. There's no need for the shame. These are symptoms or traits of a brain disorder. And, you know, when you can acknowledge that that's what it is, it's okay to just, not just okay. We all need to find that acceptance and embrace it and share that with the world so that people understand about neurodiversity. And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Shall we jump on?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
ADHDs females, ADHDAF, ADHDs females, the podcast.
Hi, I'm Dawn.
Hi, I'm Laura, and we
are
ADHD
AF.
AF. Seriously. We are two neurodivergent neighbours who moved to the same street at the same time, at the same age, with the same undiagnosed disability. What are the chances?
Since discovering the enormous impact ADHD has had on our lives and the horrifying numbers of missing undiagnosed females, it has become our mission to make some serious noise.
We want to use our voices to raise awareness, break the stigma, and share our experiences in the hope that they help others.
So join us for a chat, or as it's called up here in Aberdeen, a blether.
Trigger warning, we will be covering some really sensitive topics, so please do have a read of the description of each episode before listening.
It's important to note that we are not medical professionals, we're not therapists or coaches, we're not qualified to offer advice or support. What we will do is share our experiences alongside resources and information from professionals. We will talk over each other and we will go off topic and forget the point mid-sentence.
We are both assigned female at birth, which means that we can only speak from the experience of life as AFAB people. However, ADHDAF is an inclusive space. Whatever your gender, you are very welcome here.
Yes, you are.
ADHDs females, ADHDAF.
I'm Merrill Davis. Hi. And hi, I'm normally prettier.
Oh,
And
shut up, you're
beautiful.
gorgeous.
You're so sweet. You guys are sweet. I was just digging because my hair's a mess. But so yeah, I'm in a place that you could call maybe the worst state in the United States. It's called Florida. I don't know if you've heard of it. All of the rumors are true, and people do eat people here. And here's why. If you were as hot as it gets here on a regular basis, you would want to murder, maybe not eat people, but you know. Anyway, I live in Los Angeles. I'm originally from Miami. My mom's here. I came to fix her knee. I mean, not fix it. I'm not a surgeon, but
She broke it twice.
I came to help her recover. And I don't know if I'm doing a good job of that because I haven't even taken my meds yet. But so yeah. But anyway, what'd you ask me? I'm sorry.
Honestly, this is the joy of doing this podcast, is that we're all exactly the same. So you will see at some point we're going to actually forget what we've asked you. And if you don't remember, then we're all fucked. But it's great.
Good.
We're all the same. So
it's so good. It makes me feel less alone. Yeah.
So tell us your occupation, what you do for a living, how you got to be there.
So I am a comedian. I got to be here by, having a mommy dearest kind of mom. No, I'm kidding. I keep saying I'm kidding, and I'm not really kidding. No, I am a comedian. That's what I do. I'm a comedian and actor. I live in Los Angeles, and let's see, how did I get here? Gosh, I took 2 planes today. And that's how I got here today. But no, I just, trial and error. I think I went to theater school and I wanted to be an actor. I knew that. And then I sort of fell into comedy by accident, stand up. One of my classmates was like, "You're the class clown. You should do this comedy night I'm putting up." And I was actually not the class clown. So I don't know why he thought that, but
He planted the seed.
He did. It's all his fault. And I wish I could get mad at him, but he's no longer with us. Anyway, that's not supposed to be funny, but it sounds funny. I think I actually did kill him because he was like, "Here, you just stand up and not have a successful life. Thanks a lot." But no, I do stand up and I act, and I just actually wanted to ask how you guys found out about me, because I was in Edinburgh I said it right, didn't I?
Yeah.
I said Edinburgh.
Yeah.
I thought it's Ed in a bra. That's all you have to say. Ed in a bra. Ed is wearing a bra. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what? I don't 100% remember because of my ADHD, but I'm pretty sure it was something to do with the Fringe. That would make sense, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
I think so. So tell us, how did you come to suspect that you had ADHD?
Okay. So the signs couldn't have been more obvious throughout my life if there was like a neon sign flashing in my face or around the world to everybody. But I didn't know for a long time. I just, of course, like so many others, just thought, all the labels I got as a kid: lazy, not motivated, slow. I was called the slow one. It was always hard to function as a person, still is, obviously. But I think it was after college where it was already hard in school and there were so many signs, but I was in a structured all-girls high school, that convent that I was forced into as a Jewish girl. Anyway, that's a whole other long story, but that's not important. And I think I did well at that school because of the structure.
Yes.
And I didn't know, of course, that's why. So when I went to college, I think because, I had no structure there, it was just a disaster. And then afterwards, all sorts of fun things happened. I went to jail. That's a long story. Don't worry, I was only there one night. It just wasn't nice enough that it wasn't a 5-star hotel.
No.
I couldn't
Yeah.
stay, you know. If it had been more stars, I might have stayed if they had a pool, you know. But yeah, so let's see. I think it was, I don't know, was it after the 10th job I got fired from? There's just so many things that were just not working. Nothing was working. And that's really what my show at Fringe was about. My whole show is called Merrill Means Well, and it's about well, we know what it's about, but it's mostly about all the jobs I've been fired from. My dad fired me twice. He did. He fired me twice. He's probably the only one in the family that we know for sure does not have ADHD.
Yeah.
Because he's a brain surgeon and he saved people's lives. And if he had it, he probably would have murdered everybody or just not saved them. But the thing is, what's so crazy about that is that he didn't even know his own daughter had a brain disorder.
Yeah.
And sadly, he passed in 2019, but I did my show at Surgeons Hall, which I thought was so funny. So yeah, to get back to your question, I mean, in every way right now, my ADHD is flying on all cylinders because I didn't get my meds in time. And so now I'm like almost raw right now.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's good for the podcast. I'm suffering, but it's fine.
We really appreciate you coming on, especially with everything you've got going on. So tell us, like, how was the diagnosis process for you? Like, when and how did that come about?
Okay. So just to go back to what we were saying, my life was a big train wreck. And then I moved to New York. I was doing stand-up here in LA, and I decided to go to New York because they have an amazing stand-up comedy scene.
Yeah.
And I remember I have the combo of inattentive and hyperactivity. And so my hyper decision was in 2016 to move to New York with my 2 dogs. And, you know, and 5 credit cards in my pocket. People say $5 in my pocket. I got off the bus, 5 credit cards. And my dogs and I went from Airbnb to Airbnb because I'm insane. And then one of the Airbnb hosts was like, hey, you know, I was telling her how I really need a therapist and I can never get it together and I don't know why. And it's always been such a long struggle and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I have the best therapist in the world. You got to go to her. So I go to her. And this is after seeing therapists my whole life, thinking like all of my issues were trauma related, which they were. My childhood was very traumatic. But oh my God, in 30 minutes, she was like, you have ADHD. And I was like, I do? And she's like, yeah, you do. She's like, it's pretty obvious. But she was very sweet about it. But she was like, when I started looking up, I was like, it's so obvious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
almost
joke.
like, you know, when you meet people who are very like, I don't know, this is going to sound terrible, but like sometimes you just know something about them that they don't know about themselves yet.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what it was probably for me, for people, if anyone, you know, knew ADHD or knew about it. But anyway, she diagnosed me very quickly. And then I did the med trials for the next couple of years. And the timing was pretty insane because New York is probably the worst place to be for someone who has ADHD, or the best, depending on how it, you know, affects you.
Yeah.
And in my case, like I was missing the trains and I was constantly late and I couldn't figure out this or that. And then I found out I had it and I was like, oh my God. And I think the first thought immediately was such a relief. And I know you guys know this feeling. You're just like, God, I'm not an idiot, you know, like not on purpose, but I just kept thinking like, oh my God, so I'm not that big, dummy, slow person everyone thought I was, you know? But then right after that, like 5 minutes later, I was like mad. I was like, but wait, why didn't I know? And all those things, you know?
And why didn't anybody else see it? And when it was so obvious, that's the hard part to take, isn't it? But it's only obvious if you know about it.
Exactly.
Which is why awareness is so important.
It's so important. I mean, I just did this show. I did 19 shows at the
Wow.
Fringe, and everybody who came was either going through a diagnosis or was, thought they might have it, or they already have it, or they know someone who has it, having a podcast, and I just got so many wonderful, everybody stayed after, and there were tears, and
Wow.
because it was so cathartic to be able to
Yeah.
say, like, wow, like, this is such a crazy thing to have a mental disorder, a brain disorder. I don't even love the word disorder, because I look at it as, like, I don't know. I just think all of our brains are wired differently, right? So
Yeah.
like we there's no way none of our hearts are exactly the same. Our noses are not the same. Our butts are not the same, unfortunately. But other than that, no, it's just, I think that's the frustrating part about it is people, and for you guys too, I'm sure, I'm sorry I keep saying that, but to have a brain that all your life how you functioned and what that felt like for you until you knew what was happening, and then how everything makes sense, and it's like the puzzle, all the pieces make sense. And
it's such a bizarre thing, because when it's like you say, when it all starts to make sense, you start to notice it, and I think, my God, like, how have I gone all of this time not realizing that I lose something every 10 minutes? Like, it's all the time. Like, how did I
all the
go
time.
30 odd years just being like, oh, where's that? Oh, I found it again. Oh, like, how have I not been like, hang on a minute, or anyone around me been like, what are you doing?
Not
I
just
know,
thoughts as well, losing thoughts constantly.
Yeah. People call things like a mind fuck. Nothing is more of a mind fuck than ADHD. Nothing. Because there are times when you're like, oh, right. You forget you have it. People forget you have it. My boyfriend, he's my fiance now, but he forgets.
Congratulations.
Thank you. He proposed in London. Thank you. Right after Fringe. And then the Queen died. And this is why she died. No, she died because my boyfriend finally proposed. Finally. So she was like, oh, I can rest now. Thank God. Kevin finally proposed to Merrill. But she was amazing.
It's lovely news.
Yeah, no, it's a big deal. That's the other thing is, I'm so happy. I'm so happy I got my diagnosis. Is life-changing. But, there's such a long period of time where you feel like, is anything ever going to work out for me in my life? Like, ever? Is anything going to work out? Like, am I? And after, it wasn't until the proper medication and the therapy and all the things that my life literally turned around completely. I mean, I'm engaged. This is huge. I mean, I'm not a spring chicken. I've been here a minute, so it's a big deal. And career things are going well. My relationship with my mom is so great. I mean, she's also on Zoloft, so that helps. But put everybody on Zoloft. No, I'm kidding.
So how long have you been on medication? How long is it since your diagnosis?
So I was diagnosed in 2016.
Okay.
And I started doing med trials that year. And then I was just going to say, I've been holding my phone up this whole time like a total like I just learned how to use a cell phone because oh my God, because it's just a hot mess today. My computer died. My mom doesn't know her Wi-Fi password.
Oh, no.
I'm trying to figure it out right before we start. That's what took so long. Okay. Anyway, I'm all over the map. So shoot, you asked me. Okay. So 2016. And then I started the med trials that year. And I'd say probably not even until like 2019 were they really like where the right medication mixed with the right, I did all the trials.
Right levels for you.
The right dosages.
Yeah.
That's it. The right dosages. And so I finally sort of found the magic potion, and it's just,
That's
I mean,
fantastic.
it's wonderful. It's just I'm so passionate about it because I feel I know what it feels like to go so long with feeling like there's something wrong with you. What's wrong with you? Why can't you get it together? How come you're not like the girl down the street who got into Harvard? Why can't you be like her? You know, just all that stuff, or your own brain, you know, saying like, how come all my friends are engaged? All my friends are married. How come they have kids? How come, why, you know, just always felt like everybody else's life milestones were moving. And I was stuck. You know, my feet were stuck like cinder blocks, you know, so.
Trying to push yourself into a square peg, but you're not.
Square peg in a round hole.
That's
the one.
Yeah, no.
You're not square, you're the round one.
You're the round one. We all are.
And
we're in it together.
Exactly. And while we're talking, I'm thinking to myself, my gosh, I'm talking to two beautiful, beautiful ladies that, you know, that's just it. It's so cool to talk to you because I need more of that. It's odd because I'm a comedian and actors, comedians. I mean, so many of us have ADHD or some form of a mental health struggle or challenge. And again, like, I think we should change the wording, but we're not there yet. So, but, it still feels like you're alone, you know, you just feel like you're alone. And so that's why it's so great that you guys have each other.
Yeah, it really is.
And you'll appreciate this. My friend Amber also has ADHD, and she and we were going to start an ADHD podcast together. And then we never did, which is such a classic.
It's a really ADHD thing to do.
The fact that we're still going, you know,
I don't know how we're still doing this. We literally were like, oh, we'll try and do 10, and we've done, what are we? Well, we don't even know where we're up to now.
That's incredible, you guys. Congrats. That's
Thank
really,
you.
really amazing.
It really is. You know, we did it for so many reasons, and we knew that we wanted to obviously raise awareness, but to make people feel validated through our experiences. But we didn't realize quite how much it would, and that's been so amazing for us as well, you know,
like it's not just that we're out there helping other people, like this is really helping us.
So for sure
helping us on our diagnosis journey.
Totally.
Speaking of which, where do you think you are up to? Like if the late diagnosis process, so it's 2016, you know, you've had a bit of time to let the dust settle. Do you feel like you're at acceptance, or are you still somewhere else on the grief cycle? Where are you up to?
So that's such an excellent question. You know, it's interesting. It's kind of like losing a parent. It's not the same thing, obviously, but and I don't know if either of you have, but you have. Has you lost a parent? No.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
you
lost
know.
my dad 10 years
I'm sorry.
ago,
So you know, the feeling is kind of like a part of your body just dies. Like if you had a fifth or sixth limb, it just came off. And then what happens is a little later, the phantom limb keeps coming back. So like basically, I have accepted it. I'm actually at a place where I'm very proud of it a lot of the time. But then regardless, separate from that, I still forget like therapy appointments, you know, and then my therapist
right?
But my therapist will fucking charge me, and he knows I have ADHD. It's like, you know, stuff like that makes me angry. And then I get mad, you know, because like, I just feel like, I think that's the thing, is when things kind of, I don't know, they sting a little bit, and you're like, okay, I feel like I'm you know, you have it. And then the meds help a lot. And then therapy helps a lot. And then when you start feeling like a person, like you're really, you know, you're firing on all cylinders. I'd say I get sad about, I grieve sometimes still about the age part of it all, because I can't get that time back. So I have to just be okay with the fact that, you know, my dad's never going to walk me down the aisle. He's not going to see me get married. You know, there's just certain things that aren't going to happen. Not that, you know, maybe even if I didn't have ADHD, that might not have happened, but just, I don't know. I think the grieving will always be there on some level, even though I'm a totally positive, like happy person in general. So I'm not like a, you know, Debbie Downer or whatever, but I do feel like that underlying feeling. And then there's the question. There's still a lot of questions. Like,
Yeah.
I've learned a lot, but then I'll find out something and I'll be like, wait, do I have that too? You know? So like, I feel like I've done all this work, and the next thing I know, I'm like, wait, maybe I'm dyslexic also. Shit. You know? And then I read a sentence today and I'm like, oh, it's backward. The phrases are backwards. And then I realized I do have dyslexia. Great.
Yeah.
So, you know, you just keep finding things out, and it's hard to keep your self-esteem up because, you know, a part of you is like, well, I'm a genius in some ways, you know, and then another part of you is like, God damn it. Like, I already have struggles. Do I need any more struggles? This is so frustrating.
So I guess on that same note, what do you feel that undiagnosed ADHD has cost you?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. That's an excellent question. It's been a lot. It has, you know, I mean, I function in daily life by making jokes and being funny, but I have, you know, very low moments. I do. And yeah, I mean, that's it. What has it cost me? It's cost me so much, so much. I mean, a big chunk of it has been time, but also we need to get into this because you guys seem like awesome people and awesome friends. I have lost friendships. And I mean, good friendships. And recently two, like one was 20 years long of a friendship. And the other one, that was a fringe related weird situation, but yeah, I'd say it was ADHD. She's undiagnosed ADHD. She thrives off of drama. She's one of those friends that's like, don't tell anyone, but, you know, and so everything is a constant fucking secret. So then you can't tell somebody this, or it's very stressful. But but there's a friend that I lost. She's not dead. She doesn't want to be my friend anymore. Right around the beginning of COVID. And I still am just like, it's worse than a breakup with a guy.
Devastating.
It's devastating. And that's another sort of grief, death thing where I'm like, I find myself like I'm in a romantic comedy. It's not a comedy, but where I'm like, how do I get her back? Like, how do I get her back? Like, I don't know how to get her back. You know, I don't know how to fix it. And her thing was, when we were fighting about it, was she said ADHD is not an excuse. And she also said that she at some point had ADHD. Now here's the kicker. Don't think it goes away. But
no offense, she's talking absolute shit.
No, totally. And then to talk on top of that, you're gonna love this. I basically gave her my therapist. So now she sees my therapist.
Oh, wow.
No. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So it's a bummer because the friendship thing is a real Achilles heel for me. I love my friends. I am, you know, I'm a lifer. I'm a mess, but I'm a lifer. And I just, you know, I love who I love. Like I want, you know, she was going to be a bridesmaid in my wedding. And, you know, so that's hard. That's
really hard. And you put on top of that, you know, I don't know how ADHD affects you, but emotional dysregulation, and perhaps, you know, we can get so consumed in our feelings, and it makes it harder to deal with things like that.
Yeah.
And
it's
conflict
really
is common, you know.
Yeah. And it's a very interesting thing to keep learning also when you ask, you know, where are you with everything? I keep learning things. I don't know why they're like, I'm like, oh, that's that too. It seems like every single thing I do or say or how everything is completely ADHD related. In the last couple months, and I think right before Fringe, I hadn't like bitten my nails or my cuticles since like college, probably. I was like just eating my hands. Oh my God. Like I'm a cannibal, but I love myself. Anyway, I'm like eating my hands.
I have to have fake nails. I can't stop biting them. Yeah.
It's so I bit the hell out of my cuticles these last couple of months, and I'm looking up stuff about ADHD, and it says that's one of the things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm like a poster child.
Yeah.
Like, but then I'm like, do other people, I mean, there's other people who are late, right? There's
That's
other people
me.
who have bite their nails,
That's her.
but there are people who don't have ADHD and still do these things, right? So
They do.
what's
But they're-
different? What's different?
Well, I think it's to do with, so the way we understand it anyway, is like the frequency and the level of control, right? So it's how often you do things and how much of an impact these things are having on your life. If you really, really do not have any control over them, you cannot sort them out, and it's really negatively impacting your life, then that's kind of more ADHD. If you sometimes bite your nails when you're nervous and sometimes you forget things and sometimes you're late, yeah, that's everybody, but it's how much and how severe.
Yeah.
Right.
If you are finding this podcast helpful and you're in a position to do so, we are asking that you help us by signing up to our Patreon. In pledges starting at just £4 a month, it will give you access to our We Are ADHDAF community forum, in which we are both active members and we all support and learn from each other. You will also get access to behind the scenes content, exclusives, offers, blogs, vlogs, the works, everything in the kitchen sink. Your pledge will also mean that we will be able to continue to put out weekly episodes of ADHD as Females, the podcast.
Alternatively, if you would prefer just to make a donation, you can do so by visiting buymeacoffee.com/ADHD as females. We know that our words are helping people in 164 countries and counting.
We really appreciate your support in supporting us to continue supporting the ADHD community.
If you are ADHDAF and you want more ADHDAF, join the We Are ADHDAF community. www.patreon.com/ADHD as females.
I realized something. It's so funny because I just want to start asking you guys questions.
We don't know anything.
I want to know. No, I mean, like, I want to interview you. You guys are awesome.
This is another
turn
Zoom
it around.
call.
This is another one. You can
Yeah.
interview us next.
Yes, I want to interview you. Starting my own podcast. It's just called Merrill. That's so obnoxious. That's like Madonna or something. But anyway, I was going to say, your question of what has it cost you, and your question of where are you now with it? So I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly finding new things. And yet it feels like I know everything. And yet I still don't know everything about it.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that's the case with researchers, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'd say, like, I probably wouldn't have gotten pulled over a million times and gotten a DUI and, gone to jail and, had a lot of bad relationships. And I learned, oh my God, it took me a while to realize the emotional dysregulation in our house growing up, because I thought I was constantly being attacked.
Yeah.
And so I felt so justified in, setting my family on fire.
Yeah.
And I didn't literally do that, don't worry. But but there were times, like, if my mom or my brother or somebody said something so mean, I would just be like, I'd fight back. So, and then I was, in my mind, I thought I wasn't doing anything wrong. They were doing something wrong. I'm just defending myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in their minds, they saw this like maniac of a person that they didn't understand.
Yeah.
And it took a while to sort of, it's just wild, isn't it? I mean, it just took a while to see it. It is a lot.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah, it's not just self-understanding. You kind of have to get the people around you to understand you as well. So
Yes.
it is a lot. Yeah.
And often, with people being neurodivergent, like within families, or even, we're like magnets for each other because we're all similar people. Like,
Right.
sometimes people's ADHD traits really clash, like it's because it's not a one size fits all. We're going to have clashes within that. Some people that, like you say, that do like the drama, other people that are really hypersensitive, and those two things together, that's an absolute disaster. Yeah.
And my mom has ADHD, and she's undiagnosed. she's in the other room. I hope she's not like listening in that, but she know, but she
You
has
tied
it.
her up after you broke a leg.
I did. It's like misery over here for her. You know what I mean? She's like, you mean you're coming here with no medication? Ah, no, but it's hilarious because she has ADHD and she's got borderline, both undiagnosed borderline personality disorder, and she's a narcissist, which by the way, she will say she's a narcissist, which is hilarious. And so that was fun to grow up with. And I love her, you know, she's my favorite. And there's no way I wouldn't be like the comedian and performer that I am, you know, but she is mommy dearest. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, I just want to go back because that's one of the things when we're talking about, you know, time and it costing you time and all of these experiences that we've all had in varying degrees, like actually, maybe you wouldn't be a comedian and maybe you wouldn't be an actress and you wouldn't have had, and like that's sort of one really good takeaway, isn't it? Is that that's what life is. Life is all of the things. It's the good and the bad and the boring and the terrifying. And actually, as an ADHD person, you kind of experience more of the things. You know? I
think so too. Yeah. And you experience them so fully, you know, it's never partial. It's like all the way.
All or
right?
nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're going to do it up right, you know? And I think also, God, I could talk to you about this for literally hours, and you're both so sweet and awesome. I want to, I guess what I wanted to say really quickly, and I know you're the ones asking the questions, but I just wanted to say, so lately, the biggest thing I'm dealing with is, and I think it is it RSD, rejection sensitivity?
Yeah.
So when I first heard about it, I was like, oh, I don't have that, you know, and because in my mind, I'm like, I get rejected all the time. I don't get, you know, I audition, I don't get the job. I, you know, have a bad show or whatever, but it's not true at all. My fiance, I'm not used to saying this. So he has, and this is a very bold move for me to share this, and I'm doing it for two reasons. One is I feel like I want to hear what you both have to say about it.
Yeah.
And secondly, there's an underlying, I don't want to say sabotage, but it's like a cry for help or something. I don't know. I think it's because this is a part of my life that I need to work on. And that is that when I was little, I had serious FOMO. Like my brother got to go out all the time. My sister got to go out. For some reason, they were like, she can't go out. And so we're allowed to go out. And then my brother's friends, sometimes they like wouldn't include me, or my brother wouldn't include me for things. And then, so cut to years later, here I am with my fiance, who's also a comedian.
Yeah.
And his group of friends are some of which I did shows with well before I even met Kevin. But there's a bit of I don't know, they're all kind of like not snooty, but you know, they're successful, they're doing really well. And so then I have these conversations with my fiance about things like, you know, well, how come they don't like me, or how come I don't get included in things, or, you know, and then he's just like, well, why do you expect anything? You don't have to expect anything, you know? But, and I see that point too, but I'm also like, okay, but I've spent time either professionally as a colleague, or I'm also your girlfriend who's going to be your wife.
Yeah.
And, there's a small handful of them that have not congratulated us on getting married. And I don't know, part of me is like I feel like, am I old school about like how you treat people, or am I normal, or am I overthinking it? I mean, I'm definitely overthinking it.
Can I interject?
Yes.
So
please.
What you're talking about is, again, it is ADHD, because it's about, your perception. We have like, what is it called? Like a justice thing. So it's about what's right and what's wrong. And so we can see things very much in those terms, in like black and white. And so you're like, well, this is how it should be. And this is what I would do. And this is what is decent. And this is what is right. And if you don't see that, then your injustice-ometer or whatever is going to go through the roof, and your RSD, and then it just builds and builds and builds. So what you're describing is ADHD. Because the thing is
so crazy.
The thing is that, what's the expression? You would care less what people thought of you if you knew how seldomly they did. So people haven't congratulated you because they forgot, because they're busy.
Or they don't know.
Or they don't know. Do you know what I mean? That to us, from our perspective, it's this huge thing. And to them, that's my...
It's like whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that's because I'm saying that doesn't mean I follow that. You're describing my life, basically.
And really the ones that matter are the ones that you should care about, the ones that really matter. If they've not congratulated you,
that's an issue.
Then you maybe have to question why.
Yeah.
But you have to just look at how much those people really matter to you personally.
Yeah. It's just because it's not right. Just because it's not right doesn't necessarily mean it matters, even though your brain is telling you it does.
That's true.
Why are we agony aunts? We don't know what we're talking about.
No, you do. It's the thing is that I think it's because there's two things going on. There's a deep need for validation and acceptance. And then when you're a comic, oh God, that's times a million. And then when you want that from other comedians, who it's a disaster.
Yeah.
It's really a disaster. As I'm saying it out loud, I'm going, this is a nightmare.
Just have to become that validation for yourself.
Yes. But the thing is, I feel like, wait, what did you say? Sorry.
I said that's easier said than done, isn't it? We can all say,
for sure.
This is what I need to do, but actually doing it is really hard.
It is. And I think if I was listening to somebody else say this, I wonder if I'd probably be saying what you're telling me. I just feel like, I think part of me was like, oh, they're going to like me and be nice to me once they know that this is for real. And we're going to be, he's going to marry me. And this is like not a hangout part-time lover situation. And it didn't matter. It doesn't matter. And then my other friend was like, they were never that into you. Like, not like they're not that into you, but like they're not being different from how they were before. Like, in other words, if I didn't get a congrats, hey, that's awesome, it's not that surprising, because it's not like before they were like, happy birthday or Merry Christmas or, do you want to be friends or whatever. Yeah. So, but I didn't realize how much that really impacts me.
Yeah.
Is that a narcissistic?
No, it's just RSD. It's RSD, and it's also this. I can't think of what it is, but it's injustice. It's kind of black and white thinking, what's right and wrong, and we have a justice sensitivity. That's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, and when you spend your whole life thinking that there's something wrong with you, and that you're not normal, and that you don't fit in, and you're this, that, and the other, and you've been self-depreciating your whole entire life, that your self-esteem takes a hit.
Yeah,
and therefore you're constantly looking for external validation because you don't quite believe in yourself, so you need people around you to be like, I'm okay.
You're great.
I'm great. Everything's great. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So like, it doesn't just doesn't go away overnight just because you have a diagnosis. That's still going to stick with you. So that's something you always need to work on.
Yeah, that's work.
Mm-hmm.
But sorry, go on.
No, just to circle back super quick to the what has it cost you, and along with what you just said, along those lines of just what you said, because when I first got out of theater school and I had made some connections, whenever I would write like a casting director or somebody in the business, it was just like ridiculously, embarrassingly long emails, or there'd be like an apology for like being alive,
for existing.
For existing. Yes. Right. Mm-hmm. And then I feel like that my career has taken such a massive hit as well, because, people don't know. They might just think like, she's weird, she talks too much, whatever her thing is. And so recently I wrote an email to a manager because I'm looking for a new manager. And I forced myself, like, this was painful, to not apologize in some way, shape, or form in the email. Even when I just ended it with TGIF, I spent the next 2 days going, was that rude that I left it at TGIF? Like, that's how bad it is. That's how fucking bad it is. I said, thank God it's Friday, Merrill. And I think I insulted him. I mean, like, it's that crazy. It's that crazy. You know what I mean?
Literally how it is. That is how it is. And, and that's the work, isn't it? Is to recognize that you don't owe anybody an apology for breathing. And also, like, all these little things that we worry about, like, other people just aren't even noticing, you know?
I need to come back and I need to go to Aberdeen because I feel like the locals in Edinburgh, like, hate us during Fringe. Because I was like, do people in Edinburgh hate, like, because I met a lot of, like, not that friendly. But I know it was during that time, and maybe it was just certain people I met.
It's
and
crazy tourist time, isn't it, then?
Yeah.
So listen, Merrill, what we would like to ask you is, what is the most ADHD thing you have done this week?
I mean, I have to say it's today. It was today. It's just because it takes the cake. I mean, like, it was just it was a domino effect of I didn't have the meds. I went to the pharmacy last night in LA. It wasn't ready. I got angry at my therapist, not to his face or anything. Well, anyway, whatever. And then when I got to my mom's, I couldn't figure out the password. It was a ping pong ball of my uncle's here. There's the dogs. I've got to help my mom with her knee. And oh shit, is it on camera? I didn't ask them. Should I put makeup on? Should I get dressed? Oh my God, my computer just died. I guess I'll have to do it on my phone. I still haven't taken my meds.
Domino effect.
Yeah.
And then you guys waiting for me for God knows how long while I got
honestly,
ready.
it's absolutely fine. It's really, really, honestly been such a pleasure to speak to you. And
you guys
really
are
lovely to
amazing.
meet you.
It's so nice to meet you. I wish there was more time because I literally had something else to share, but for another time.
Well, is there anything else that you want to add? Any pearls of wisdom? Anything for our listeners
that you'd like to say?
I do. I think what I love about this, and without knowing it for most of my life, was that it gave me such a massive amount of empathy for other people. Because you know that there's always something you're struggling with. So there's no way that other people aren't struggling with something. And, you know, it's hard. We're all trying to be people, be human. But I think if you start with that place, you can't not be loving and accepting of people from other backgrounds, other cultures, other just everything, other religions, mental mindsets. I think the empathy, the forgiveness ability, I think all of that is I'm grateful for learning to and understanding that I could be more that way because of what I have, you know.
That's so lovely.
That's amazing, Merrill. Thank you so
You're the
much.
best. Thank you so much.
Have a nice afternoon. Yeah, have a nice afternoon.
I wish we lived in the same place. You guys would have to get rid of me. And you guys, I'm coming over. Can we hang out? Anyway.
Oh, Merrill, well, honestly, so lovely to speak to you. And we know that there is a lot in that episode for our listeners to take away from. So honestly, everything you say is like, ding, ding, ding.
Okay, good. Thank you. It was so wonderful meeting you guys too. Thanks for having me. I'm so honored that I got to be on your podcast. It's awesome.
Well, it's an honor to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye. Thanks. Bye, guys. Bye.
One absolute hoot.
I literally love the woman. We love you, Meza. Can we call you Meza?
Meza. I like it.
So yes, and we hope that she'll come back to Scotland soon, or that we'll get to LA soon, because she's just a dream.
I know. Can you believe that the Queen can finally rest now because she's engaged?
Oh my gosh. Honestly, she's so funny. It's the way that everything just gets so dark.
Yeah.
It's like everything is in some way like related to death, or the fact that she's like gonna chop her mother up because it's like misery there. Like, so funny.
I love that humour though. That's right up my street.
Speaking of humour, it is time for our ultimate shame eradicator, the most ADHD thing of the week.
Love it, love it. I love doing this. It makes everything lighter.
It does, absolutely. But this week's a bit special, isn't it? Because
Well, I was going to say, what's the most ADHD thing you've done? But then I think
the most ADHD thing you've done is forget what we just done.
yeah, I know. It's what we've done, right? It's a joint one.
Yeah, so this week, so obviously we live smack bang on Aberdeen Beach.
Yeah.
So we're very, very north.
Literally 50 yards away from the seafront.
Step out of your front door and you are on Aberdeen Beach, basically.
Essentially,
And we live 5 steps away from each other.
Mm-hmm.
And at about, it wasn't even quite midnight. I think it was about 11 o'clock at night, something like that.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was midnight. I messaged you because I had just got a notification. I've got a couple of nerdy apps that tell us when the aurora is out. So
The Aurora Borealis.
Yes, and
Also known as the Northern Lights.
she was dancing, as they say.
Yeah.
And so I got this notification and I messaged Dawn and I said, hey, my phone's beeping. The Northern Lights are out. Shall we go?
And I replied, being like, well, yeah, I mean, we could. With it being cold and me being like all cozy inside, I'm like, I want to go because I want to see them, but I also don't want to leave the comfort of my warm house.
Well, what you actually said was...
I can't even remember.
I can't be bothered getting dressed. And I said, thank goodness, because I can't be bothered getting cold. And the thing is the next morning we woke up to all of these pictures all over social media of the Northern Lights that people travel from around the world in big, massive groups to go and look at and pay loads of money. And all the pair of us had to do was put a coat on and walk 2 paces. And we didn't do it.
I know.
What it displays is just quite how much we body double and quite how much, well, we're basically codependent. But the fact that that's how we get things done is together.
I even said to you in the messages, I was like, we're going to regret this
Yes,
in the morning
yeah.
when we see everyone's beautiful pictures of the
Yeah.
sky.
And literally on our doorstep. But the point is, if one of us had said, oh, come on, the other would have done it.
Oh, 100%.
And that, people, is basically how we get anything done.
Yeah.
Literally how we get anything done. And just on this one occasion, neither of us was more enthused than the other. And that's how we missed the Northern Lights.
Yeah, I know if you'd said, let's just go.
Come on, Dawn, just put your coat on, let's do it. It'll be 5 minutes and we're going to see this natural wonder of the world that some people, it's a bucket list thing that you never get to see in your lifetime. And all we've got to do is walk out our front door.
Yeah, and if I'd messaged you saying, come on, let's go.
I would have been there if I was on.
Yeah. So there you go. We missed it, and there was amazing pictures.
Yep.
The next day.
So we won't do that again.
No, next alert, we're going.
We're going.
And
To be fair to us, it is bloody cold. And we've actually just been sat here. Not that Dawn's house is cold. Everywhere is cold. And literally, we've not been able to get our shit together just now. Like trying to think about what we're doing in what order. We literally couldn't do it. And I genuinely believe, because they do say that if you are cold, it can, your brain sort of shuts down a bit because obviously you're conserving energy to keep warm. And here we are, 2 people that are ADHDAF, and we cannot string a sentence together because we're bloody cold.
so that's my excuse for not being able to do the tongue twister at the start.
Yeah, that's the one. So let's dive into a couple of these because they are so funny. I went through to the hall for a can of Pepsi Max, but returned with a tin of peaches. I just stood there looking at it, trying to figure out why this was in my hand. I remembered the Pepsi and realised the tin of peaches was on top of the Pepsi pack. No idea why. And I just picked it up instead.
I love it. Just fancy a wee can of peaches.
I've forgotten what I'm doing.
It's okay, I got this.
For God's sake! I told you it's the cold.
Yeah, so the next one was, we're going to name and shame her.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to name and shame her if I can open my phone.
God.
Honestly, what a shambles today. The next one is Nicole Adler, who we had on episode, I have no idea.
About shared care, NHS shared care denied. Yes.
her most ADHD thing was she decided to trim her hair 7 minutes before she needed to leave the house. I'm like, yeah, well, just give
Of course, plenty of time for that. Absolutely.
Plenty of time for a self-haircut. Speaking of Nicole,
Yes.
she's actually responsible for my rabbit hole this week.
Go on.
So Nicole had put something up in her story about how people in the UK, because Nicole's from America, so people in the UK say the owl noises.
Yeah.
Which I think she'd put up as tweet-twoo, which it's more twit-twoo.
Twit-twoo, yeah.
Twit-twoo that we say. And so I'd replied to her saying, it's twit-twoo, but what do you say in America? And she's like, it's hoot-hoot. And I'm like, okay, whatever. But anyway, she sent me down a rabbit hole trying to figure out what other countries say for owl, for their noise.
Yeah.
And in Swedish, it's hoo-hoo. What else have we got? We've got like Albanian, cuckoo. And then I got to Wales. And English, we've actually got a few. There's hoo-hoo, twit-twoo, to-wit, to-woo. But yeah, Welsh. Cockadwill-dwe, go-go-go. And I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. And if we've got any Welsh listeners, I need.
Yeah, please tell us.
I'm guessing it's maybe like cockadwill-doo. Go. I have no idea, but it had me in stitches.
Because that is brilliant.
That is, the human noise for an owl.
Welsh owls.
Yeah.
Welsh, obviously.
And I didn't even consider that in different countries, people would say animal sounds differently.
Yeah. I remember once hearing what dogs say, the noises dogs make in Spanish, and I remember that being really random, but I don't actually know what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, hilarious.
Just
I
so
think
bizarre.
that's a great rabbit hole though, isn't it?
It was
'Cause
fun.
that's very entertaining. Mine was totally ridiculous. I literally made the post for what rabbit hole have you gone down this week?
Mm-hmm.
And to do it, I found 2 rabbits. And when I found these 2 rabbits, I then remembered how cute rabbits are and basically went down a massive rabbit hole, firstly looking at rabbits, then really considering whether or not I can have a house rabbit, then speaking to Big about it, told you were like, yes, get a house rabbit, but then we realised if ever I'm away that you would have to look after the house rabbit, and actually leaving Ziggy and a house rabbit alone. I mean, to be honest, Ziggy would probably be afraid of the rabbit, to be honest. She's that kind of cat. But yeah, that was a long one. But hilariously, somebody else sent in one that was very similar, which was crocheting an actual rabbit. Mid making a blanket, remembered rabbits are cute. They really are.
They are cute.
Spent ages analysing patterns and going through my entire wool stash, choosing the right one. Spent the whole weekend making said rabbit. This blanket's going to take a while.
I love it.
I love it. So please do keep sending us in your most ADHD thing and your ADHD rabbit hole. It's just another really lovely way of shame eradication and knowing that we're all in it together, the camaraderie and the community. And speaking of community...
Yes.
We've had a really, really good week with our ADHDF community because we started our Wake Up with ADHDAF.
Yes, it's been life-changing.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I still can't get up in the morning on my own accord.
Yeah.
But with the help of the community and with the body doubling that we're doing in the morning, I'm getting up and out of bed at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
And that is unheard of.
It really is.
I only get out of bed if I've got somewhere to be. And
and even then it's only till the last minute and you're running out the door.
Exactly.
Yeah.
With my hair unwashed, face unwashed, and just looking and feeling awful.
Yeah.
And it sets me up
stressed as well because you're going to be late.
And it sets me up for the day feeling awful as well. So this, I have to get up at 7 a.m. and get on Zoom because I have a commitment with the people that are in our community to be there.
Yeah.
So I'm getting up at 7 a.m. I mean, I'm looking like a dishevelled, puffy-eyed so-and-so, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Because it is so helpful and so beneficial. And then just seeing everyone else being able to get things done, people writing assignments, people clearing out their home.
We had a lady today who finally, after a couple of years, went through all of her old clothes to either send them to be recycled or to sell them and to donate to charity. Like, that's a hell of a job.
Hell of a job.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's one of the jobs that just never gets done. And it's really amazing. And the best part is like at this, we have people in Singapore, we have people in Australia, we have people all over the world. On different time zones, but for us in the UK, it's waking up. We have one lady who's always walking her dog, and obviously it's pitch black, and so the joke is that she's on her way home from a rave, and it's the walk of shame that she's doing, and it's just such a lovely way to start the day, because when we finish the call, we all say, like, what did you get done, what did you get done? And it's like, oh my god, we've just smashed the day, and it's only 8 a.m, and you just feeling those lovely community vibes.
And that's
absolutely wonderful.
And even if I get up and the only thing I do is get up, like that is an absolute win.
Yeah.
So it's it really has been incredible.
Yeah.
And I was on time for uni.
I know.
Early for uni.
Early for uni.
For the first time.
And somebody
since I
even
started.
commented and said,
they're like, oh wow.
Yeah.
So there
that's
you go.
amazing. I've started exercising again, although today I haven't because it was just too cold. I could not face getting in my gym gear. But as I was saying on the Zoom last night, loads of people have been asking about the twerk burpees thing. So I'm gonna put my link to my Caleb Marshall workout on the highlights reel so that people can do the twerk burpees, because it is really fun. And I would never do any kind of horrible exercise in the morning, but like I can dance to Britney and that. So, yes. Anyway, we've wittered on for absolutely ages, but thank you again to Merrill. She is such a legend. Please come back. We love you.
Yeah.
And we hope you've all enjoyed this and that this has brightened up what is meant to be the bluest week of the year. Yeah. And if you are feeling blue, please take care of yourselves and reach out for help.
Absolutely.
There's lots of different organisations. There's the Black Dog. I can't remember their full thing. It might be blackdog.org or something. The Samaritans. There's lots of different places that you can reach out to for free and get some support. And if you're in a position to do so, please do come and join our community, because it is really special. Yeah. We're all supporting each other, and it helps us to carry on making these episodes.
It certainly does. So be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and lots of love.
Loads of love.
Take care.
Bye.
ADHDs females, ADHDAF, ADHDs females.